Hello and welcome to episode 6 of Austin FC on the Football Manager 21 beta. I'm Charlie and today we are focusing on the Superdraft. This is where Major League Soccer clubs have the opportunity to pluck a couple of college standouts up for their rosters. It's actually quite an interesting dynamic. I talked to Oliver Shannon about it about 2-3 years ago. Now he was drafted 36th by Atlanta United in 2018, and he explained what sort of happens. If you haven't seen it, get onto YouTube. It is a bit of a spectacle. It's an event. So club officials, based on the draft order, will go up and they'll call out a name. They come up, do the classic scarf picture, shake hands with the old fella, and then off they go. Now he explained to me that actually you're not being drafted to the squad. You're being drafted to train with them and hopefully get an opportunity. Now he did. Now he earned a contract. He spent 2 years with Atlanta before signing for Barla Town earlier this year in Wales. I do think it's one of the areas of Football Manager that is difficult to replicate. We've talked about this sort of thing before. Because of everything that goes on around the draft, you know, there's a lot of posturing, there's a lot of scouting, there's a lot of players being, I was going to say tapped up, but that's sort of the wrong word. And there's a lot of negotiations between MLS clubs in terms of trading their draft picks. That's always going to be hard to replicate here in Football Manager. The other thing is that this episode is going to be probably the most boring episode that we do, because there's just going to be a lot of players getting selected by different clubs. As you can see, we are first in the draft. This is the draft screen. And because we are an expansion club, yet again we are given a bit of a leg up, just as we were in the expansion draft, in order for us to sign the very best players. Now there are 6 generation Adidas players. That's these boys at the top here. Kikanovic, Bello, Della Curda, Traore, Hilton and Mendoza. They will get drafted within the top 10 of picks. They're guaranteed, because the generation Adidas clubs like the Prestige, they will sign them. The other thing that Oliver told me actually was that as an international player coming through the ranks, you don't expect to be drafted in the first round. Often you have to wait, and as he did, he was a second round pick for Atlanta. In terms of what I want, I'm looking for cover in some crucial positions, such as goalkeeper, attacking midfield, right and left, central midfield and a striker. If we can get those, or 4 of them, I'll be quite happy. I'm not too worried about, afterwards you receive an inbox item that'll tell you the gradings of how you've done in the draft. I'm not entirely worried about that at the moment. In terms of the other things that you can do here, you can ask your assistant. So we're going to ask Davey Arnoux for his pick, and he has selected Kenny Lopez. Now as you can see, Kenny Lopez is on my radar already. So good pick, Davey. The draft information here will just give you all the breakdown of the number of picks. So there's 108 left to be selected in this draft, and we have 4 picks. The first overall, then 28th, 55th and 82nd. So they are the first pick in each round, and it is our pick, our turn to make a pick. So I'm actually going to go with Davey here, and I'm going to draft Kenny Lopez, 21-year-old goalkeeper. I have looked at him before. I'm quite happy with his stats, and what you'll see is that as players get drafted, it appears in this drafted club column. The other interesting aspect of this is that, I tell you what, let's see a few picks first. So there you go, Della Curda, gone, generation Adidas player. So he's obviously got his move already. Second pick. Third pick, Carlos Mendoza, another generation Adidas player. It's exactly what I was talking about. The first non-generation Adidas player to be picked is Jaap Frimpong. Good striker. I did look at him myself. Just before we get to Vancouver, I'm just going to show you another element that you can do. So this is an offer for the draft pick. So Vancouver have their 5th pick in the 2021 Superdraft first round, and we can offer them a combination of general allocation money, a player, player rights, and draft allocation. So I'm going to show you how it works. I don't think this will work, so I'm going to make it a bit easy. So we're going to offer them our 2nd round pick in the 2022 Superdraft and our 3rd round pick in 2023. They're never going to accept this, so don't worry about it. As you can see, rejected out of hand by Vancouver. If that was accepted, we would then take our place and we would make the next pick. Let's fast forward through a few of these. So, have we any Generation Adidas players left to pick? Let's see, shall we? There's 3. So, my prediction of top 10 might not come true. Dawda Traore was the main star going in. So, he is a 19-year-old defender. If you just have a quick look at him, he has some pretty decent stats. He was, I think, the number 1 seed in this draft and has gone to Vancouver Whitecaps. Next pick is Nur Shea for Columbus, and there we have Kikanovic. So 9th pick overall, and he has been drafted to Houston. So there's only 1 remaining Generation Adidas player. So that's a special type of contract we went through right at the start, the very first episode we mentioned those. So Thomas Bello, he is Peruvian. 19 years old, and I suspect he's going to go to either Montreal or Chicago. What's the betting? I'm going to say Montreal. And he doesn't. Dylan Johnson goes instead. Let's see. He went to Chicago. There you go. Right, that's the way it goes sometimes, isn't it? So, all these clubs now will make their selections. I'm just going to see if there's any interesting events taking place. There's not really. I'm going to skip to our pick. So you can just skip. So that's the first round completed. So everybody's made their first round selection. Again, I'm going to ask what Davey thinks. He's gone for Ben McCarthy, another goalkeeper. I'm not really that interested in another goalkeeper, am I? In fact, no, I'm not, but I've got a feeling that if I miss out on my next target, which is a young chap called Avilar. So Eric Avilar here, also wanted by Vancouver and Toronto. Stats are fair to middling, not too bad, but crucially, he can cover out wide on both sides of the pitch. Currently with the Cincinnati Dutch Lions. I'm going to pick him from the draft. And he is going to be our 2nd choice. So, now, I wonder if we can persuade Inter Miami to let us have their next pick. They want our pick in the Superdraft 4th round. And some general allocation money. Am I okay with that? I think I'm okay with that. Oh, it's been rejected. Why would it be rejected? That's what you wanted. Strange times. So we're going to let another pick go. And then let's see if we can try and resurrect it with Nashville. So they have accepted. So this is where we will now draft. So unexpectedly, we've got an extra little draft position here that we're going to sign. I'm going to get McCarthy, the goalkeeper. That is the one that was recommended. Let's snap up Ben McCarthy. So as you can see, that's how it works. The other thing that you'll notice here is that Orlando City have got 2 picks in succession. So at some point, they've picked up somebody else's pick. And they're going to select 2 boys in succession. You've got Chan and then Franklin that they've brought in. So they won't be the first club like that. So as you can see there, DC United, 45th and 46th. It's basically a big waiting game, the expansion draft. It does take about 2 hours, and it's on YouTube. Do watch it. So we've got another couple of pairs coming up here. So DC of San Jose and Sandoval. Let's see who Toronto goes for with their double pick. So Hector Espinosa has signed for New York City. It's Liam Robson and Jordan Green for Toronto. Seattle with the last pick of the round. Now, I'm after a striker. That was the position that I was hoping to fill. So I want an American. I'm not willing to splash an international spot on a young signing like this. So I think there are 2 players that I've seen before that I'm interested in. So from the scouting, this young chap here, Travis Gonzalez. Decent technique at 13, finishing of 13, dribbling of 12, acceleration of 12. There's something there. Might just take a while for us to tease that out of him. The other player is Riley, I think his name is Neil Riley. Here we have him. So I'm just going to compare the 2. As I said, this is probably the most boring episode of the beta test, but it is something that we have to go through. Let's just have a look. So in terms of technicals, quite similar, not much to split between them. I mean, a 2 for passing for Travis Gonzalez. Mentals seem to be edging towards Neil Riley, as do the physicals, if we're honest. So Neil Riley is going to be my pick from the draft. And there we have it. So he is our 3rd round pick. And I'm going to skip to our next pick now to see what there is still left. So now we're in the 4th round of picks. We've already made 4, as you're aware. But our assistant's pick, he's gone for Abdi Mohammed. Not going to happen, my friend. Not happening. There's no way I'm signing a foreign player, because it just takes up an extra slot that I can't really afford to lose. There was one player that I seem to remember scouting beforehand. Let's see if we can find him. He's probably been drafted, in truth. I think he was James Valenzuela. I'm going to bring him in, I think. He can just cover in central midfield. Not entirely sure about him, to be honest, but he was one of the few that I looked at beforehand. Some of his stats aren't too bad. Aggression, determination, work rate, natural fitness, all greens, and that at least shows he's got something about him as a decent young prospect. And that is actually us done for the draft. So I'm going to complete the draft. Skip to the end. There we go. You will see towards the end, and you see that with Toronto in their 107th pick, that clubs will skip a turn. And as soon as they do that, that means as soon as they pass, that means that is the end of their day. They won't be able to come back. So you can't skip in the 2nd round, for example, and come back in the 3rd. Just not how it works. In terms of contracts for these lads, I want them on senior contracts. I'm not worried about the playing time, not at the moment. But senior contracts for them all, because I don't want them appearing as reserves. So this is what you have to do, is negotiate with them. Basically, we are looking for Why do this to me? Give them the minimum possible that they can have, and that will not impact on our salary. So obviously in MLS, we've talked about this quite a lot, the MLS salary cap is at 78,000 per week. So you have to be under there. And I've got a couple of other deals that are going to increase our wage. So I'm getting a bit worried about our striking options. I don't really trust Andre Lima. David Marshall. Is he the agent? Oh, for Neil Riley, that's why. Let's just give him that. Yeah, and then Valenzuela. I mean, if it all goes badly, it all goes badly. But I've got a feeling we're not going to be too bad with these lads. A lot of clicking today. It's like teaching grammar how to send an email. Normally, I'm pretty quiet. So they will join our squad. And as I say, there is a couple of other deals to be done. So Angel Nava is our goalkeeper. He's been on trial with us. So he's been a potential goalkeeper, but hasn't really worked out. His stats have been at the lower end of what he could possibly be. And as such, that sort of put me off. So he will not be signing for us as things stand. He's due to leave tomorrow. And then the next episode is going to be Nashville in a friendly. We play at Drake Stadium, which I think is a neutral. And there we have, on screen, one of our transfer targets, Jeff Cameron. Of course, currently at QPR, formerly the likes of Stoke. He was when he was here in the MLS, he was with Houston. So I don't know if we'll have access to his rights. We'll may have to trade for that. But he's played 15 games there for QPR in 2021, according to this. And I think he's a type of mature head that we need. A senior figure. We're just not going to offer him quite what he wants because I never do. He's after 2 years. How about I give you 1 year? The board would like to imagine. Okay. So he is demanded 2 years. Okay. And here are the Superdraft grades. So as I said, we get this report. Oh, look at us, right down the bottom with an E. How disgraceful is that? How do you even know? You can't say that. Kenny Lopez in goal, I think is a fantastic prospect. So here we go, see? So we're going to add him to our training camp squad. Here we are. And up top, we are about to sign a big player. Dom Dwyer is coming in. So he is the striker that I've pretty much wanted since the start of the save. And now we've got that one over the line. The other one that I was looking at is this guy, Fatai Aleshi. I'm not entirely certain. I mean, he's only 39k. It's either him or Jeff Cameron. And Cameron just seems to offer us a bit more versatility. So he'll probably play central midfield. I mean, if it's a box-to-box midfielder, for example, it's fairly even, isn't it? Can't really choose between them. But if it's the deep-lying playmaker role, I can't remember which one we have. I think we have it on support. I'm not sure anymore now. That's giving me something to think about. Fatai Aleshi. The issue is that the attributes that we can't see, because of course I play with attribute masking well and truly on. I think I'm going to go with Alessi, you know. I think I will. And we can always sign Jeff Cameron as well, but I'm going to bring him in. And then I think the first thing we need to do is add those two boys to our squad. Although I said that, Angel Navo was one of the best trainers last week. That's a bit of an issue. The big thing with the MLS, obviously, is squad registration. So I'll look at that for the MLS in just a second and see where we've fallen foul. We usually do. Here we are, we've added those two in. That'll just make sure that they're eligible then to play against Nashville. In terms of squad registration though, let's just minimise that one. So these are additional players that we've brought in. Where's Dom Dwyer? Is he as a designated player? He is. So he has got quite a hefty wage. Let's just check we are meeting all the requirements. We are. No red on there. The only thing that's worrying me about that is I have one more player to come in. He's due to go out, young Guadalupe, to the Austin FC Academy, which I think will free up a space. I may have to trade for an international slot because we have one player set to arrive. Can I see that? Transfer activity in. So Adam Cresswell was a goalkeeper. We actually don't need him anymore because we've assigned two other ones. This chap, Parnisari, is coming in. His stats look pretty good. I think he could be pretty decent for us. I don't think I can stop him arriving now. So he is going to be an Austin FC player very soon. And that's all for today. As I said, quite a slow episode. It's one of those, it's an experience you have to go through as an MLS manager, and I think it's important that we include those, the little strange things that you come to in each different league. So that was the Superdraft. We've had the expansion draft. I don't know when the re-entry draft is, if at all. I don't know if that happens on the game. The season does start in March, I want to say. Does it? Where's the fixture list? No, end of February. There we go. Our first game is away at Chicago. So we will feature that on YouTube. But first, we've got a friendly against Nashville. I'll see you for that tomorrow.